Welcome to Strategy Battle Gamers to another GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host GBHL Damian, and this is Matchup of the Day. So yes, welcome once again, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube video. You are here for Matchup of the Day. It's a very exciting week. As ever, I'm your host, GBHL Damian, and so this week I'm once more joined by
Sam from Mid-Sussex Wargamers.
Indeed, how you doing, Sam?
Yeah, I'm very good. All full up with food.
Yeah, indeed. It's an incredibly exciting week here in Middle East World Cup in the Matchup of the Day studio, as it is finals week.
Yeah, I've been counting down the days.
Haven't we all?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard for some people to count down the days because they didn't know when it was going to go online.
Yeah,
but,
very true.
Hopefully they didn't reach that.
I've been crossing off the days on my calendar going soon.
Yeah,
soon it'll be the final.
It's just a long list of boxes and it says soon at the end. So you just cross off, and then on the last day you cross off 10.
Yeah.
Soon is now. Soon is now! Although the soon you've probably completely been waiting for is actually tomorrow. The final will be going out tomorrow on Thursday, so you can get all excited for that. But obviously this week we are here, or this matchup of the day, we're here specifically to look at the third place playoff game. It's been quite the tournament.
It has been a very, very good tournament.
We last saw you, Sam, in Group 3, I believe.
I believe so.
When you go some excellent punditry for that.
That's good.
How have you enjoyed the rest of the tournament since then?
It's been very good. I binged watch it over the weekend. Stuff, been quite busy, but some unexpected results.
What stands out?
Didn't expect Lorient to get so far.
No, I mean the Lorient group match was, group matches were spectacular.
It's crazy.
We didn't expect them to win a match.
No,
let alone get out of the group.
No, I remember last time I was here sitting in that chair. We was discussing what we thought about Group 4, and we both agreed that Lorient would get absolutely spanked, and would be lucky to even kill a model, let alone.
As it was,
get to
won all 3
games,
and then won the quarter-final, beating the Moranans in the quarter-final.
Yeah, I had them to do quite well.
The Moranans?
Yeah.
Indeed. You, of course, did make your prediction right at the start of the tournament, which we still have in a sealed envelope.
We do.
We'll be unveiling that tomorrow,
right?
In the super special
bumper edition
final show.
Yeah.
Which we hope you enjoy. But yeah, so Lorient, who of course are one of the teams in the third place playoff today, very unexpected.
Yeah.
We also have Minas Tirith.
Yes.
I didn't have them getting this far, so I'm pleasantly surprised.
I had them getting to the final.
You had them getting to the final?
I had them getting to the final.
Don't reveal whether you had them winning the final.
I will not say whether I had them to win. But
so that's quite the that's quite the run you have planned for them.
Yeah.
Hoping the
defence was defence 7, yeah. How I had it matched up on my little sheet. I had the defence 7 winning against most of the others.
You must have been thrilled when they played Goblin Town.
Yeah.
When Beragorn takes out, I think it's 8 goblins.
Yeah.
In the
that did make me happy.
In what a lot of people I think saw as quite the upset.
I had them to beat Goblin Town.
There you go. But yeah, so those are our 2 combatants for tonight's third place playoff. As ever, as we record this, we have not seen the match yet. So Sam, it's Lothlorien versus Gondor, Minas Tirith.
I'm still sticking with the Gondor.
Sticking with Gondor?
Yeah, sticking with the Gondor. I know Lothlorien have done well, but I just can't see how they can.
They lost, of course, in the semis to the Shire, Lothlorien. So it was purely a numbers game there.
Yeah.
No, that's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Sorry, terrible nonsense. They did indeed lose to Oasis because Minas Tirith didn't turn up against the Shire.
No, they didn't. They did Beragorn.
The Lothlorien put up a good fight actually against the Oasis.
They did.
In the semi.
They put a very good fight.
I remember Tom was doing the punditry with us last week. He thought they were genuinely close at the end of with a chance.
Oh yeah, I was watching it with Miss Chris, and kind of like this. We was chatting about it, And at one point, we both thought Lothlorien were gonna sneak it.
And I believe it was the captain who went for the odd choice of 1-1-1-1.
That's not a great. It's not a great choice.
Poor tactical manoeuvre there.
Yeah.
So they had, I think they got found out.
Yeah.
I think they had a brilliant run, 4 games straight.
I'll tell you what they're like. They're like Wales or Iceland.
Yeah, we tried to go through this because we're 1 round less than the World Cup, so we couldn't work out who they were. Because there was would they be?
They were probably more like Iceland. They were the level underdogs that everyone kind of thought, yeah, they could do quite well.
And then they won an unexpected knockout game.
Yeah. And then lost to something.
And then they lost. So
lost to a favourite.
Yeah, so more like Iceland. Perhaps.
Yeah. You got Wood Elves and Lorien doing it.
Minas Tirith, on the other hand, you must have been fairly disappointed with the semi-final.
It didn't go well.
No, playing the Shire.
I mean, I always hate seeing armies the Shire had the advantage, didn't they? They had more bows, they could stand there and shoot.
And they did.
And they had the numbers. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there was one point in that game where I thought, who was playing Gondor? Harry.
Harry was Gondor.
You never get the full picture from the video, but it looked like he made quite a big error.
You just tap down the bottom right, there's a little button that says full screen. Just do that.
Is it?
That's what you're right at.
Yeah, but you can't tell distances and whatnot.
No, indeed.
And you don't see what happens when it's being cut.
Yeah.
But there was one thing where it looked like he kind of just stayed in the block, rather than trying to outnumber the hobbits. I think where the first wave of hobbits charged, he kind of didn't charge Baragon in, which I thought was strange. Get your hero in.
Yeah. Didn't Baragon go into trap Merry around the back? Mary, I can't quite remember.
But there was something. There was a point in that where I thought I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And ultimately they lost. I mean, you never know.
Should have phoned in to match up of the day.
I should have. I didn't know you was taking phone calls.
Yeah, apparently we are.
All right. Okay.
Phone in, guys.
But yeah, no. Ultimately, I was disappointed. I mean, without giving too much away, I wanted them to get to the final. And I thought the defence 7 maybe helped them against the shooting, but
yeah. Well, we were discussing beforehand that I think Harry did the right thing in standing at the back, and even 1 bow against 4 bows, trying to outshoot them in the hope that the defence stops them. But of course, the first turn he got wounded by a shot. Yeah. And it's one of those things. On the other hand, if he didn't kill anyone, if he had killed someone and hadn't.
And didn't Baragon die with? He still had his might point, I believe, unless I missed.
I honestly can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he died to a shot.
A lot of games.
There's been a lot of games. It's been a long tournament.
It has indeed. But Lothlorien today against
Gondor. I'm a Gondor man through and through, so I'm waving my flag for Gondor.
I've now bet against Lothlorien 5 times, and I've been wrong 4 times.
Right.
But I'm still betting against them.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how they've won any games.
No. Has Jamie been using them?
Jamie's used. I don't.
Because being a Wood Elf player, he's obviously got a little more experience with the old Wood Elves.
I think Harry used them in the semi.
Right.
But for me, I can't see them because they haven't got the special strikes.
No.
Of the hobbits or Goblin Town to get through the armour. I just can't see.
They've not got the numbers.
Yeah, they can't outnumber them.
No.
And the Minister will wound them on 4s.
I guess the only grace for them is the captain. The captain has potential to do some damage.
And even the shooting, it's Baragon against a Wood Elf. They could. The Wood Elves, I think they'll bunker up again, Minister. And just shoot that archer, and then I don't know, a couple of elves could be dead before they even get to combat. Yeah.
I hope we see a good game. What I want to see is one team sitting at the back playing all defensive.
I think these are. We discussed it before about how the semi-finals were perhaps unbalanced or not the games we wanted, and you've now got those 2 weaker semi-finalists. So I think these 2 armies for me are kind of lucky to be there personally. But I think Lothlorien are going to get.
Where did you have Gondor getting to then?
I think I had them get into a set. If you just stay right there. I think originally I had them get to a semi-final. Right.
Opening up your unsealed envelope.
Yeah. It's only mine.
Yeah.
Integrity. In my first gambit.
Yeah.
I had them get into semi-final.
Right.
But I was saying this on the last week's show. What was interesting is once I saw the quarter-final matchups,
Yeah.
I then didn't rate them getting through.
Right.
Because I originally had them playing Rohan in a quarter-final.
Yeah.
My prediction. But as it was, they played Goblin Town in the quarter-final, and I had Goblin Town to beat them.
Right.
So I did see them. I thought they could get past the Rohan.
Yeah.
I definitely thought they'd get out of the group stage.
Yeah.
And thought they'd get past Rohan, but then thought they'd get find out.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Done well.
Um,
Hopefully they can top off.
I think they'll get through and claim the bronze medal.
I hope so.
If there are medals.
There better be.
We can say. But as ever, we're now going to go off and watch that game, and we'll come back once we have.
No.
And so we are back, having watched the third place playoff game, and
it was as predicted.
Indeed.
For Gondor.
For Gondor, Minas Tirith, somewhat romping.
Yeah.
To victory.
There wasn't really any point where it looked like the Elves were gonna swing that back.
Do you enjoy that?
I did. It was all over rather quick. It was a blink and you miss it game. It was that much of a thrashing.
One can't help but think back to some of the group stage games or quarterfinals. Because sometimes it's the way it happens in the World Cup that the final games are not the best games.
Yeah.
And
everyone's a bit tired.
Exactly. Exactly. You could see the fatigue kicking in there. And also, do either of those teams want to be playing that match?
Not really.
You've got to wonder at that stage. They're out there risking their lives, leaving it all out there, going, well, we can't even win.
No.
So
we can be the third. We can be the third loser or the second loser.
You just want to get home.
Yeah, back to Lauren, back to
the flat.
Yeah.
And call it a day, really.
Yeah.
That was happening. So early on though, the first shot from Beragond.
Yeah.
It went at the captain,
which was
rather than the archer.
Yeah, it was weird. Maybe to sneak an early wound. I guess that would be my reasoning.
Because you can't kill him. But at that point, if you think there's any risk whatsoever of losing that game, you take out the archer. Although the archer had a crate in the way, I suppose.
Yeah, true.
Maybe it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe Jamie was hoping to at least draw out the fate point. And
Beragond's got a strength 3 bow.
He does.
So it's the same as because the captain of his man's 4.
No, captain's 2. Oh no, yes.
Captain's 4.
Yeah.
So it would be a 5 as well, rather than a 4 to kill him. Well, interesting. But
ultimately, it didn't really matter.
It didn't
matter. The shooting was, about that one shot by that Wood Elf was pretty.
Yes, there was one kill from the Wood Elf at the back. So what do you on that? He got a kill. What do you think of Harry's decision to leave the archer behind?
I can see why he did it. But when you've only got 5 models?
5 models total.
You kind of need every model in the fight.
7.
Yeah, the elves are no slouch in combat. There's no multiple. Apart from his captain, everything's one attack, so everything's got a 50-50. And if he's got a high fight value, send him in. Shoot, at the start. I think I probably would have thrown him in.
They almost like advance 3 inches at a time.
Yeah.
Just to give him a shot.
Yeah.
Because my feeling on it was sitting at the back, firing 3s to hit and 6 to wound.
Yeah.
Are not good odds.
No. And everything dies, and then you've then got Beragond and 4 Fountain Court bearing down on you. He's never gonna win. When he gets those odds, it's like England taking a penalty shootout. He's never gonna win.
It's never gonna happen.
No.
Whereas if you do end up with 5 guys against 7, you can just get lucky with 1.
Yeah, you try and get your spears on 2 so they can parry, and then everyone else goes for the kill. And tries to whittle them down a few times. He got 2 quite early on.
He did.
And obviously, the archer killed 1, which was impressive, and the captain then followed up by killing another 1.
So the captain also used his might, didn't he?
To win the fight.
1 to win the fight and then 1 to kill him.
Yeah.
Which we both said,
do it.
Kill him.
Yeah.
That's when you saw the fight, you said kill him to get him.
Yeah.
But it did mean that
he was out of might.
Yeah.
And
he got a 5. I think a 5 for the fight the next turn.
He did, and then 3. I think the one after that.
But you've given the unlikelihood of rolling 6s. I think you have to. Well, if you had the option, I think you had to go for that kill.
Yeah, those warriors, those Fountain Court are hard enough to kill anyway. Let alone when you're outnumbered by them.
True moments of controversy.
Yes, as there always is in the
Indeed.
Middle-earth World Cup.
Because otherwise the video would be too short. Firstly, let's have a look at this around the 2-minute mark when Bergond gets his kill against the throwing dagger.
Yes.
Increases chances of hitting. Bergond shooting first, going for that throwing dagger. Hits. Kills.
Oh dear.
Death to throwing dagger.
I think he can, in terms of not being in base contact.
I'll find that he's dead.
Okay, take him on. Got to be vigilant, they say.
Yeah.
Vigilant Harry.
I'll find that he's dead. Okay, take him on. I'll be vigilant, they say. Vigilant Harry. By throwing dagger.
So there we go.
I can see where Harry's coming from. I mean, for us here in the studio, it's very hard because we can't see the formation of the flanking court top down. But if Bergond wasn't in base contact with that flanking court, then he couldn't shoot the throwing dagger.
It's
one of those rules in SBG that people often I don't know whether they just ignore or it's just forgetfulness, but often it's
whenever you have,
misplayed.
if you have a line of guys in front and a line of guys in the back, a lot of people will quite incorrectly play it that the model at the back can shoot through the three that are in front.
Yeah.
You can always shoot forward or shoot, even though your base can't be touching that one because of the base of these two. And I think that's what happened there. And and the issue becomes that Harry was like, yeah, shoot him. And then when he died, he went, nah, mate. I changed and there was quite an angry flick of the model over, as I recall.
Jamie kind of went, we'll kill him instead.
Where again, you saw the barely contained rage. Just bubbling over again, perhaps. Like that. But
I mean, he still killed Nell at the end of the day.
It's on Harry's part, it's the ravings of a crazy man. You're hoping for the throwing weapon to stick around. On a minute chance you get a kill. But
as controversial moments go, it wasn't the most controversial moment of the World Cup.
Indeed.
But he did have a point.
And it was nice to see them sticking. They were sticking to the rules of the game.
Yeah.
Those are the rules of the game. So that was quite good to see.
It is one of those ones that I frequently have to remind fellow players.
No, indeed. And it was that similar sort of thing where it's like calm down. This is not fun.
Yeah.
Let's all remember this is a serious sport.
Yeah.
And that if they had done that.
Yeah.
I've seen comments. From other things.
There would have been a judicial inquiry, independent inquiries.
Hashtagging would have been a nightmare. Tifa would have had to get involved.
Yeah.
So perhaps
Justice
it's best
for Lorien.
Indeed. Perhaps it's best that they did agree to.
Just kill a different elf.
Yeah, we'll kill a different elf. However, not the moment that drew the most yells in the matchup of the day studio.
No.
And a bit of division, I believe. As well. Let's have a look at this moment. This glorious moment for an elf around the 5-minute mark.
Yeah.
Where in combat, an elf strikes down a fountain court guard.
Or does he?
Yeah. Come on, trusty spearman.
1-on-1.
Fight it.
Wins it.
Sixes!
Oh.
Tifa!
Nudie, Tifa.
No, I don't think so. That one. Never fear. Oh! That's like 3 5s to win against these. Oh dear.
Success. Tifa.
That dice was not cocked.
So, I agree with you, it wasn't cocked, but the old trick is a dice cocked, is put another dice on it. And it rolled off.
Yeah.
I mean, why in a game,
but
I would say
didn't.
that's not cocked, you can have that as a 6, put a dice on it.
I think the issue was it didn't have Jamie's patented licking technology from the semi-final. I don't know, you don't have the 3D mapping technology that we have at some of the bigger stadiums.
No, we don't.
But from where that looked pretty flat.
and to compound the point, there was another dice later on,
higher up the board
on a similar piece of scenery which was similarly flat, and they took us not cocked.
Oh, what a moment!
Yeah.
What a moment as well.
That
finally get one of those legendary sixes.
Yeah.
And
then said...
I cried out.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not cocked, you know, it is cocked.
Yeah. Everyone
Crazy,
at McDonald's turned
crazy
around
things.
and was kind of staring in disbelief.
Absolutely. No, I mean, look, you can see up there, that's as close as we got to like seeing it and seeing exactly how it lay.
Yeah.
And I think it's Jamie that puts the dice on top. I think it's done in quite a cavalier attitude. It's kind of, and of course it's going to come off. I don't know. I reckon if I could go up there, and I reckon I could put a dice on that dice.
Tell you what, I'll bring that piece of scenery. I have that exact piece of
Have
scenery.
you got it?
Not
We
with
could recreate it. If we scanned it and then
Yeah.
put it into a computer.
We'll have to
and
get
then-
some Hawkeye.
Yeah, and get all the kind of graphics and
Yeah.
that
We'll
sort
see
of
if it's cocked.
business.
Yeah. But no, I in any game, I think because it was the final, I think obviously tensions were running high, which is why, you know, he wanted it to be cocked. In any other game, that probably would have been left alone, and that elf would have had that moment of glory.
Had he killed that Fountain Court guard,
Would it made a
would it have
difference?
changed
No.
anything?
No, I don't think
Probably
so.
not.
There was still in what 3 Fountain Court and Baragons,
Yeah.
which was still more elves than he had left. So it would have lessened. You know, it would have been consolation prize, consolation goal.
Harry made a, I think, entirely serious point. He thinks elves should be strength 5.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
I think the pressure's got to him. I think he's cracked. I think he's cracked a little bit. Strength 5? No.
No?
You can see the argument for 4, maybe.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Is that right?
You know, if you're clutching a very, very thin straw.
Don't think 5 though.
No, definitely
Yeah.
not 5. I think, you know, we already see enough elves as it is in the you know, in the wider leagues. I think making them strength 5 would maybe a little error.
It's just my worries now with Harry achieving host status, of course. You know, he now has the ear of the people.
Yeah.
If he starts making these kind of wild claims, who knows what kind of momentum this might get.
Well, everyone has good ideas and everyone has bad ideas. This, unfortunately, like Jamie shooting the captain, is a bad idea.
Indeed. So, interestingly enough, I want to bring up one thing. So at the end, I think we should congratulate them.
Yes.
Well done to Minas Tirith. Solid. Like
Yeah.
I think a good performance.
Solid third, yeah.
Third place is good
For what's considered, you know, in the wider community, a weaker army. I mean, all right, they've got they've probably got the best loadout they can take, but they still did very well.
You had them get into the final, so at least one of our pundits predicted that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they were by any means an obvious choice. You know,
No.
personally.
No, when I was looking through all my matchups, I mean, obviously, I don't think I got many of the quarterfinals right. They seem to win everything on their defence 7. So.
But they've had a good run.
Yeah, they
They'll be
did
pleased
well.
with that. I think.
Yeah.
Good. It's good. They've got a good kind of basis to build on.
Yeah.
For the future.
Yeah.
Like for the next.
Get some
tournament
fresh new
stuff.
talent in.
Yeah, and they've got a kind of solid squad at the moment. But yeah, like you say, new players, young players.
Yeah, maybe get a new manager in.
What, over Barragond? Or over who was it, Jamie?
I don't know. You never know what the future might hold.
Yeah.
You know.
I think Barragond's
Solid.
been man of the tournament. Well,
He's had a few rough moments.
But he's done well.
Yeah.
I think. I rate him. So yeah, and Lothlorien coming fourth.
You didn't expect it. Everyone loves an underdog.
That must be the result.
They'll go home to a hero's welcome.
Absolutely.
You know, they'll have an open cart tour. Yeah. Ooh.
An open cart tour.
through the streets of Lorien. You know, they'll get greeted by Galadriel and Celeborn. You know, the crowd will cheer their name.
Yeah. And then they'll go back to their part-time job as dentists.
Yeah.
And they'll have a shocking come down and turn to drugs.
Yeah.
But hopefully they will be back.
I hope so.
For the next World Cup.
Hopefully they can improve on their squad.
Yeah, indeed.
Bring some some fresh new talent.
Absolutely. So well done to our third and fourth place. What was looking forward to the final.
Yes.
What was interesting was at the end, Jamie said, the Shire versus Woses,
Yeah.
who had that as the final.
Mm.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
We've got 6 predictions from the start, if anyone did have that from the final. But I don't think it's outside the realms of possibility. Definitely not the Shire. The Shire seem to have been a favourite.
Yeah.
The Woses are the unlikely one. But I don't think they're a... It's not like picking Lorient to get to the final.
Yeah.
You know, I think that could have been guessed by someone potentially.
Mm.
So I think it should be a good final.
I had the Woses to do well. It's a long time since I wrote my predictions, so I can't actually remember.
We'll be going over that tomorrow.
Yeah,
We'll be ripping open those envelopes.
I'm looking forward to seeing how wrong I was.
Seeing what all the pundits called.
Yeah.
Over the last 6 weeks or so.
Yeah. So it has almost been a World Cup length.
Indeed, that's entirely intentional.
I thought it was.
So yes, we will be back tomorrow.
Don't miss
with
it.
a very special program. You've gotten used to seeing the games and then seeing match up of the day.
Yeah.
For the final, oh no, you'll be getting one spectacular video.
Yeah.
With punditry. It's going to be the live final. It will not actually be live, but it's going to be before people start commenting.
Yeah. It's not actually going to be live.
That's what we're pitching.
Mm-hmm.
It's the live final. You can join us tomorrow for all the build up to the match. Interviews, we hope. We'll have to see if the managers are free. That kind of thing.
I'll get on the phone.
Yeah, some build up talk. Latest on the weather before the final gets played out to see if that will have any impact whatsoever. And that sort of thing. We'll have the final itself, and then we will have some debrief, and we'll open those envelopes and see who got
who's most wrong
or who got it right.
Yeah, someone might have got it right.
But be sure to be back tomorrow for that, the final
don't miss it.
of Middle-earth's World Cup. Please don't miss it. We certainly won't.
No.
Until then, don't forget to let us know what you thought about the third place playoff in the comments below, and who you think is going to win the final. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your hosts in the link below.
Yeah, all of them. I don't know, there might be stuff for Harry and Steve down there.
Yeah, there might be now. Yeah.
Be sure to check out Mid-Sussex Wargamers blog and website.
Thank you very much.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
Tell us whether that dice was cocked.
Support your hobby.
And happy strategy to bat gaming.